The ending of the resentment. Well, I am going to be watching for things that don't seem right and figuring this out. I have taken into full consideration of everything. My question at this moment is why there are the two extreme strategies of reveal and expose the affair versus divorce bust. Last resort technique where you don't expose. My goal is the best interest of my children, which would have been for my wife not to have done this. Since I cannot change that, next would be preserving the marriage. I have more info that says other man is done with the affair. In my case with wife's personality, if I expose and it is over, then this M will never have a chance. Us co-parenting, even divorced, would have a slim chance. She will never get past that. Should her discomfort matter? No, but the one person's opinion she values most already knows. I am info gathering, trying to detach as best I can, taking care of myself and my kids. If things really look like they are heating up with other man, then I suppose it's expose or legal action. How is it after all this emotional pain I can look at her across the room from me and still feel the deepest love like it did not happen? Of course, as soon as I catch that feeling creeping up now, I distract myself to prevent it from setting in. I can see no phone contact since he was drunk Sunday. I guess her sister confronted him at a bar. Thanksgiving would end up revealing to my kids and my parents she is working. Her family is spread out on T-Day. Her story has not changed. She brought up moving out again this time. I spoke with other man's spouse last night. He is presenting as committed. He supposedly told off my wife Sunday. She is acting like it just ended again. I guess I keep focusing on her not being able to get over anyone finding out, because when D-Day came, she was an emotional mess. Well, so was I in those conversations. She was very to the point that if family ever found out, she would not be able to face them again. Her mom left her dad for an affair partner he still resents 30 years later. I think he would have a very bad reaction to her. Her sis knows, and that's her most valued relation. I am watching phone calls. Her behavior is as if the affair is over. The other man's spouse began talking no contact letter with him. When I back off, everything is more productive and she has less talk of moving out. The kids have been needing her more when she is home too. Even with that, she dropped the comment that they will be fine, they won't notice I'm gone. She is talking that she has found a furnished temporary place she could rent. She still has not stated I want a D. Reportedly, my wife's sis confronted him, and other man's spouse says when other man was still drunk, other man told other man's spouse. He told my wife it was done, never to call again, and so on. Truth serum. Phone record shows wife sis calling same time frame as other man. Nothing between other man and wife since then. I wish my W would clearly express herself, and I wonder if it is guilt or is it lies. She came clean out of guilt. I don't know. OM supposedly shut her down again Sunday, and her behavior has been very negative since then, so I wonder if we are in a restart of a fog, and I wonder what I can tolerate. I know where my heart is. I just don't know how long it will stay there. If I discover they continue contact, I think that will really shut me down. They say time heals all. I don't know about that. I still remember a heartbreak from 20 years ago, so how can she get over this, come back to the marriage? I really don't want my kids to feel the heartache, but I think she is ready to move out. I suppose actions will speak louder than words. I understand my wife must look within in order to solve her issues. There is nothing I can control to make this happen. It is her journey, and I am on my own journey. I am beginning to accept more that she has to figure this out for herself. I just wish she would allow some outside influence like these forums. She will not read or listen to anything along these lines. She is finally talking to some of her family. I am not sure if that is helpful or hurtful. I am working to detach. It is so hard. I am going to ask my IC for help. Does the DBLRT work if she is in the house? As mentioned, supposedly the affair is over. I am still observing. She still feels the need to separate. Instead of arguing when she last brought it up, my final statement was, you need to do what you need to do. I cannot change how you feel, but you know how I feel. Yesterday went well, no arguing. She did get defensive over the kids going someplace without her next weekend. I still believe she is waiting for me to do something very mean. I still feel actions speak louder than words. I have seen no phone contact since Sunday. Does I mean anything? If her arrival and departure times get really off, then I will not think so little of it this time, as well as any and all other strange and changing behaviors. The only thing I cannot watch is email. She does it from her phone. I could contact her siblings she has been speaking with, but I said I would leave that trust alone. The only one she talks with. Everybody needs someone. Other man's spouse says he agrees to what she has written for NC letter so far, but disagrees on signing it. He feels he needs no advice and does not believe signing a letter is needed because he has told my W more than once it is done. That make me suspicious. The onset of the holidays and the kids may be beginning to affect her. We'll see. Doing the best I can for my kids right now, that helps me. My goal at this moment is to watch for more contact and get OM's spouse to get on board with NC letter. OM is being a lot more transparent with his spouse right now than my W. This may all be a show. That is why I remain suspicious. A month until Christmas. I will scrutinize for that time frame. I will have a D-Day of my own to friends and family if I must after that. Her sibling may know the real truth. I would address her first. My W gets mad at answering the repetitive question of is it over, which is a red flag to me. She may have newly developed acting skills, but in the past, she did not put on a good show. The last conversation about the affair was pretty convincing it was over. I am on guard. Right now, I don't have solid proof that it is ongoing. I spoke with other man's spouse today. My wife tried calling OM today. He did not answer by choice. He told his W of the call. He is being transparent. I suggested they include emails also. I tried to express how a NC letter may help on my end also. I am beginning to believe my W thinks there may be a chance for the affair. I believe my wife has more hope for the affair than our M. Subtle hints say my real W is still in there and not the affair alien, but I have low hopes. I am remaining vigilant. Yesterday she called OM. He did not answer. OM's spouse says he was not happy she called. He has supposedly committed to fixing his marriage. That is the only attempted phone contact in 6 days. It was for a reason that before the affair he would have been called for. My W needs to realize she doesn't need to call him. OM has pressure from extended family also. I talked NC letter from OM to my W. I think she feels there is still a chance for the affair. I told other man's spouse how effective for my W the NC letter would be to end hopes. It is painful to witness her have no hope for our marriage, but all this affair stuff. I really do not think she is going to change her mind. I was going to text her sibling to make sure it is known how I feel and not my W fog point of view. They will be together later. I am still watching everything. My W is on the defensive after her last conversation with other man. It's like we are 2 weeks after D-Day. I have warned other man's spouse to stay alert whenever my W has called. He has told his W I remain suspicious. She has never actually asked for a separation or divorce. When I did ask if that was what she wanted, she never would answer. She is taking baby steps towards a real separation. I will not ask for the divorce. She wants it, she can ask. I will not make that easy. She is still taking care of business. I am keeping an eye on everything. I will fight harder to fix it. My children deserve that. As messed up as this is, this marriage deserves it. Her sister knows the story and confronted other man according to other man's spouse. Other man's spouse said he was going to send a NC text because he does not like letters. That may have been last night's one-way text. I will be following up. If I had told my W no, don't go look at places, that would have made her want to look more. So, when she said she was going, I said in my supportive friend voice, you know where I am if you need anything. She had a slightly surprised look on her face. I have come to realize through everyone's feedback and all my reading a better way to act, so I thank you all. I have read about validation. This could have been me in her shoes. She knows I do not want her to move out. My IC knows that our MC knows that I did tell her, but you need to do what you need to do and I can't stop you. That seemed to take some wind out of the sail. Do I tell her to stay somewhere else, or just not discourage it when she decides to? I also want her to be reminded that her family wants her here. There is a whole lot of I miss mommy starting. What if I tell her that I am using the children against her according to my W? I sometimes write what I need to say because when I actually say it, I miss points or it comes out wrong. Time will tell. It's nice out, cold but nice. I should close this computer for the day and take the kids outside, maybe ring up some lights. I watch the phone as self-protection. If there are no calls, okay, but if there were many, I would be a fool to put up with it long term. As far as the other man wife, I am just trying to make her more aware as you have for me. She had not gone on any forums and was not believing the possibility of the other man still lying. She had planned to write a letter from the beginning. I told her what I knew but said she had to do what worked for her. As far as my W, I wish I could control her, hypnotize her and go back in time, but I know I cannot. Your input has saved me from making father mistakes. Judging by our interaction tonight, we can at least talk again. All conversations I have been holding with respect. I have reeled in those emotions. I still do not like my situation. Well, she jumps right to 4. She feels she needs her own space. She wants to go get the legal paperwork done so she can get a mortgage approved and I do not have to change this one. She feels she can't stay at her sister's. She doesn't want to rent. She found a property that is also a good investment property. I have not used miss the kids. I am letting the kids do that themselves. Buying over the holidays should take a couple months. We still haven't had a good solid financial conversation. One of us has been too emotional each time. She discussed the property, told me she had to get legal advice on a couple of things. She still fears I am going to pull some evil card on something with the kids like custody. That almost reinforces fog because I just am not like that. She completely dismissed the notion that she was going to speak to a lawyer about only real estate. She followed up with, you never know what 6 months from now will bring. I asked her what she needs right now. She said she needs a home. She doesn't feel at home in her home and she admits she created that. She discussed our differences that lead to some of this. I wish she had been so direct in the past. She somewhat took responsibility for not being direct. I said something about there being another choice and she is just stuck that there is no other way to go. How can there be? This will never go away. It will always be there, she says. She believes I am going to hold, I think her it was the affair, over her forever. The marital things she described all comes down to communication. I did not push. That was the most she let out since D-Day. She would not answer the question of whether or not she was still speaking with other man. She rolled her eyes at me and said, why you don't ask other man wife? Why don't you check the phone bill? I didn't really respond. This to me either means she is or he did do a NC via text last night. I suppose a couple months is enough to work on stuff. even if she goes through with the purchase. If I fight it, that would probably be worse. I was calm and kind tonight. I reminded her I cared. I did not ask about our future. I let her lead the conversation. I have learned she wouldn't look me in the eye when talking about the real estate. I don't know if anything I do will open her mind to the possibility of recovery. What could I say to stimulate that thought process? I know there has been a lot of back and forth on exposing her. I just want to clarify. My inaction was due to lack of proof. If it still seems that the other man has ended the affair and there is NC or I cannot prove it, you are saying it makes no sense to expose the affair, correct? Now my W feels the need to separate anyway. She at this point stated her parent will not know until it is too late. Should I stick my nose in there and let them know what's going on, or that is her family, so her business? This morning's calm conversation reveals that she says she is numb as far as her feelings go. She still feels the need to move to her own place. I reminded her how much I love her, how much she means to me and the family as a whole. She did not get upset. I said I could get over and through this and forgive her. Her response was that she is not sure if she could. She still has not directly asked for the separation or I essentially said, if you need your time and space, I can't change that. I said things don't have to be final, yet she really did not respond. That's the nutshell. She went on about some marriage things that upset her. I actively listened, did not argue. Most of them I cannot change because it is what our life evolved into, a change in roles due to employment changes. But she always said it did not bother her. Turns out it does. I am not exaggerating here, so on face value and her not getting mad, how is all that? It is paraphrased. My one mistake before that conversation was mentioning I wanted to go out tonight, asking if she still had something. She did and asked where I wanted to go. I said never mind. She perceived that as me keeping secrets made her not happy. I explained. She angrily explained all the details of how and why it made her mad. I suppose if it doesn't finish me, it will make me stronger. I was dumped in high school and did not get over for a long time. A 8-month girlfriend. Friends to relationship to physical to breakup and then on again off again. When I happened to run into her recently, the memories of the feelings were still there in an HS. She could have strung me along forever and did for quite a while. Now we are 20 plus years out from that. So how does AM ever really recover? Funny thing is, when I saw her, she behaved like she would have in high school until her H was around. I can say back then I was infatuated, and the breakup, thinking back, was like a withdrawal. Well, I could have done without remembering all that. We always saw each other in high school, so forgetting and distancing was impossible. I think deep inside she doesn't want the M to be over, but she is mess. She can ask for a divorce. I will wait. My free consult said it doesn't matter here anyway. She says RT now she feels numb, who knows, starting to care less a little at a time. While MC reveals the confirmation to 100% that she wants to move out. Unless it's the fog. She has seen the walk away wife video and threw that in my face. Some marriage issues were discussed. The affair issues was not really discussed. She ended up saying she never said the affair was my fault. She has created the situation. She still is very angry, saying she trusts no one and is tired of broken promises. I haven't broken promises to her. And things not being done that people said they would do. She referred to the past, me not getting things done around the house and others not doing things. She said she just wants her own place. While angry, she said I can have everything, she doesn't want anything. I said I still did not know what she wanted. I was referring to long term. MC asked if it was D time. I said it was not what I wanted. When she asked my W, she did not respond, head down and so on. What does that mean? Anything. But she wants to move on a property of her own, so we need to do a separation agreement. Her purchase would keep her in the house for a couple more months. I'm not sure how to handle this. Continue trying to save or just div. But I don't want div. I also can't see how doing anything suggested helps. She did recognize where I have improved. She saw her IC and her demeanor was very different on the phone when she called. We are about 8 weeks since D-Day, about 12 days since other man told her off again, and 5 since he sent an NC text. So, is it like being back at starting point? As far as I can tell, there has been no contact unless she has been completely covert. She has been home more and home on time from work. Does anyone believe marital separations work? So, I cannot prove anything, but there is a period of data activity on the cell bill that matches small emails. Same time frame other man would have been working, and W stayed at siblings. Confirmed she was there. Unless sibling is lying now too, I am at the trust no one stage. Unless I can get other man wife to convince other man to let her into his email, there is no proof. My W still does not even want to talk, period. Just throwing this out there, hard to act on no evidence. She is very angry and said herself she doesn't know why. I probably sound like I pursue, but I don't. I vent a lot here. I am letting her lead. It seems to be more productive. She went and got papers today from the courthouse so she could buy her place, but she still won't say D. I guess we shall see when I get those papers. She's in a very happy mood. RT now, drink. Meds. I don't know, wasn't home for a couple hours. She still only sees ending it as the fix. I tried to suggest separate and she needs to move out, fine, but why rush the D? She ended up crying. All I can do is wait and see. Take care of me and kids. Hope it's the fog. Darn emotions, still love her. Few months later, my wife had an emotional turned physical affair. They are supposed to be no contact going on 90 days, but I suspect emailing. She is, I would say, depressed. My counselor agrees. She said she is not going back to hers. She filed for divorce. I was never served. Those papers should be no good now. I mentioned possibility of divorce now, and she now gets very angry and defensive. She has talked about not being here, as well as a talk that confirmed she has at least thought about suicide. I am very tuned into that and will act if it goes beyond talk. But what do you do with a person who will deny being depressed, and has been so for at least 3 months, will not take care of herself, and will not listen, and knows well enough to deny if I just try to send her in for evaluation? Held my ground today. She wanted to open her own phone plan. An argument followed. I stayed calm, her angry. She said it was to get son on plan because I kept forgetting, so I got it done. She is super mad. My reason for no is that it is one more layer of secrecy. She disagrees. I said if you open your own line you can move out. Got her the bag to pack. She filled it. Got her the second bag she asked for. She went and did errands, and she let me know where she was going. She came back, had some casual joking. She washed her truck. She keeps smirking, occasionally, in between being mad. She had to go shop with daughters. She hinted she is leaving tonight. She just put all her stuff in a second bag. Keep biting my tongue to say don't. Said fine, give me the engagement ring then. Family diamond. She did. I could be completely wrong, but my gut says she's going to sort through her clothes in the basement. We'll see. Soccer time. I am prepared to let her walk out the door. Her body language doesn't match her actions. She's acting more like it's a game. She flat out said she thinks she is being set up. Swore to her this was no game. I will not cave. Remind me of that. I should know by 10 p.m. if she's going to back up her words. I have realized I can do this all without her. I still prefer to save my marriage, but I will not go on forever. I have never in my life realized the boundary thing until recently. Having come out of my own fog, I can see more clearly now. I have 4 young ones who love and adore mom, and when I get fed up, they balance that frustration, and that is why I have been able to tolerate so long. June was in my head as an end of waiting on her to act. I have experienced much personal internal change in the last few months that allows me to realize I can take care of my home and family without her. I still prefer to save my M. So, I need to state to her my requirements to reestablish this are my boundaries, and offer the door with it. Separation papers. I hope to be a reconciled, improved marriage, but I am not going to go on like this. I don't have the support real world. My dad has been a nice guy all his life and is just now standing his ground with my mom at 67. So, I am learning. Criticize me hard, that's fine, I won't see the light otherwise. My letter to wife. So, this where I am at. It has been almost a year since I stated trying to figure out what was wrong. Why you were becoming distant. It has been 7 months since D-Day. 4 months since I confronted you on all the emails. The changes you see in me are not manipulation. It is personal growth coming out of depression, facing my fears, becoming more spiritual. So, you know that my true desire is to renew our marriage to a better relationship than it was. That means we sort out the old, work through the pain, and find a course for the future instead of being stuck in the pain of limbo. You seem to want to move on like nothing happened. That won't work. You have your needs, I have mine. There are smarter, better versed people on this subject than us. You wouldn't get your master's degree without a class. The truck goes to a mechanic. The marriage is the foundation of generations of our family to come. We need an engineer to help us. So, this is what I need to continue on. I need to see that you actually want me, this marriage, and want to be here. Your fear of me being out to get you is all in your head. I need for us to go to MC, and let's expedite that healing by going to one of the weekend retreats for couples like us. We can go as soon as the end of May. We have the money, you have the time to take off. This is the starting point. We do this in the next month, by the end of May. If you do not want to commit to me and treat me as a valued life partner, then it's time to move on. If you do not want to take these initial steps, then we separate. We separate in accordance to how you said months ago. You find a place, the kids and I stay here. These are initial steps. We both have new boundaries and needs we will have to address. We face our fears and issues now head on. We grow from that. We do the above like I said, and it ends in separation, divorce, or healing and a renewed marriage. Either way, we work through the issues and can get along better. May 12th, we go to MC. Decide by then on the weekend or the separation. Just updated and printed the separation agreement draft. Should I give it to her before she goes in for a 12-hour night shift? It is very hard to make this move knowing I don't want it. 4 kids I know will not be happy. The oldest who know going to give him the man up books while he's in his 20s. And 1 son just came home and he has had concerns we might divorce, primarily because he had been listening to that radio show. It would also be easier if she was being mean, but she's not. Of course, this isn't what I want for marriage. I gave her the paper prefaced by a short letter of these are my requirements to work on this marriage. No contact, transparency, counseling, and more on the list. I said step up and we work on this for real or we separate. Gave her the separation agreement. She got angry at the wording about custody. Whatever, that's what she said months ago. She was late for work. I didn't help. There wasn't much discussion. So, I snatched it back so she couldn't decide to get off cheap with a lawyer. I was just speaking with a friend and said that if she doesn't get off the fence I will file. And I will. I think come the middle of May we can use our seasonal. That would give me a few dark days, need a paycheck to have enough funds to file, and a counseling appointment. Or the papers at the counseling appointment with a pro-marriage counselor. I guess that would be awkward. Oh well. So, to go through with that yesterday went against the fiber of my being, and that is why I came into this forum. I needed the backing, she needed a push. I would have backed down otherwise. The great thing about this forum is, for all I know, I see you every day at the gas station, but the anonymity allows for blatant honesty. If it makes me grow up, more than fine. Why haven't I filed for divorce? I actually love this woman, and I believe when you really love someone, if you are strong enough, secure enough in yourself, and have reached the point after this shock that you realize you can live with or without them, it becomes a choice. To me, it is a logical choice. I could make it a math choice by budget and the number of times a week I will have to see her anyway. The simple fact that we really haven't worked to recover yet. So, I was hoping pushing her off the fence would push her to recovery. However, I now believe she is too afraid to face herself. I also believe that if we actually worked at it, we could reconcile in a healthy way. The kids are the next victims. They know we have some disagreements, but there are no yelling matches. There are no real indicators to them. I have seen stats that the kids suffer so much, and I have 412 and under. Yay. Regression, depression. It was 24 hours from the time I gave her everything yesterday until I saw her again. She got up to get ready for work, obviously sad. She asked me why I bought something. The honest response was because I thought my wife would like it. She teared up shortly after. We had an event for our kids at the church. She actually had to go, and I am wondering if she is surprised. She didn't burst into flames. She went to work and texted saying she will write a note when she can find the words that will not cause her harm. She said she won't threaten anymore, moving out. She just needs some time to put her stuff together. She believes I will be happier, that she can see, and that is all she wants for me. She should have thought of that before the affair. I told it is her choice to leave this marriage because the honest truth is, I want my family whole and healthy. She doesn't believe me, yet she broke the trust. To me, giving it all is at least putting a year into it. Regular MC, a solid weekend retreat of some type, and coaching or mentoring by someone who has been there, recovered from that. So, no, I do not want to live in an unhealthy marriage, no, but am I still willing to work? Yes, call me crazy. For the record, I actually feel okay right now. So, either way, she needs to express her intentions more clearly. She feels she has been trying. I made it clear 48 hours ago it wasn't enough. I am going about my day as if she isn't here. Bonuses. Kids can stay outside and play instead of me having to pack everyone into the car for one errand. She gets the errand. Well, a great day for my kids' first communion. No earth-shattering supernatural events occurred when my W was in the church for more than an hour. Anyway, I just reread about half of the fitness testing thread. I think I actually read it back when I was still in shock. I am beginning to think she is testing me. She says she will not trust anyone ever again. As illogical as that is to me since she had the affair. But this is the third time we have had a heated argument about issues that leads up to our talk and her leaving. I say go. The more she breaks out accusations, the more firmly I stand my ground. Maybe it's the wrong approach, but I do not dismiss. In fact, I reinforce how strong my love has always been for her and will be, and so on. Disagreement goes on. She cries, says leave me alone. I say I am done, move out, do whatever you want, I don't care, I will be fine. Now after these 3, well, maybe 4 disagreements just like this, she ends up being more than nice to me and agreeable. She ends up calling me with her plans, schedule. The more I show little concern, the more she talks. So regardless of how this affects the current situation, but to help me learn for the future, any future relationship, is this the testing? She said she was going to talk to the kids about leaving next week. I told her to go ahead. Today was her only day off between 3 on and 4 on, so I won't see much of her. For the record, I don't believe her. This is when I get to see how accurate my gut is for the future as well. If she doesn't say she's not going today, I think she will go to a hotel or sisters. I have made very clear I want to save this, it is her choice. So she doesn't want to do it my way at this point. I asked her for her way, I guess, as much as it pains me. Again, this has to happen. Wouldn't psychology say since I am saying you are free, go, she will try to stay. But if I start telling her to stay, she will go right. Isn't that the reality? I have to breathe, pause, and watch my words. So, my afternoon turned out okay. I am just catching up on messages and so on. W, I think, was most affected by my 12-year-old reaction. She didn't get much from him. He didn't say much at all. I was in the room most of the time. Maybe it will wake her up. She left the second time after talking with the kids around 4. She only talked normal stuff with my other kids. Oldest wasn't home. I am pretty sure he knows the whole deal. Kids played outside, had a good afternoon. I took the kids to church for 5. She knew we were going. She came back and sacked out on our basement couch. All her stuff is still in her truck. She is either sick, hungover, or emotionally, physically ill. I am not worrying about her. I am acting as if she is at work, therefore I am doing what I need to do, which means disrupting her because she is in the room. I need to keep going into oh well at this point. She must have therefore called in sick for work. So much for the hotel she was going to go to. I didn't expect her to be here and quite simply couldn't bother confronting it. Getting 4 kids fed, cleaned, and to bed was more important. That's where I am at. Not sure what I should do with tomorrow. Off day for me. She works the night, so one place or another she will be sleeping all afternoon. She is now stirring enough to send her back to this will never work, looking for me to say no, don't go. Instead, she got here's a synopsis from me to her after all her negative statements. Sorry, I was wrong. You must be right that I was a fool to think there was hope for this marriage. Thank you for the compliment that I think I am the perfect dad and greater than everybody else in the world. So, you want and need to move out. The seasonal will be ready in a couple weeks, then we can talk in September. I will prepare so I can help the kids adjust when you leave, even though you say they will be fine. That's the gist of it. I noticed several statements of her looking for not please don't go, but all my cards are on the table. I am prepared for her to leave. Are the kids no? Deal with it if I have to. I will not ask her to stay. I need to remember that. She cannot answer key questions like, you have been saying you are going to leave, so why aren't you gone yet? All her clothes still in her truck. She's still in the house sleeping for work. I know, kick her out. She'll call the cops and say she can legally be here, because she can. That's it. Doesn't think there will be much else to say for a few days. Plan B, go dark as I can. Kids and events make it difficult. It all seems like a bad movie. Bit by bit I see the original copy of my wife returning. However, if we begin real work on reconciling, I will have to work hard to stick to my boundaries and needs in order to work through this without a repeat. Feeling like I might print up D papers. Thought packing the bags would get her to state her position, but no. MC Thursday. Act between now and noon tomorrow, or just ignore her until Thursday. Divorce or how to work it out. I may decide for us. She is behaving like a teenager. I am reaching my limit. This situation is what it is. I see it for that. Perhaps the stumbling block of pushing really hard is that we both have the following in common. Neither one of us no longer want to see the other hurt. We don't want to see the kids hurt, and at this point we are both scared of marriage. Let's see, then we have this thing stripped down to the base of the foundation. Everything is exposed, or could be. But neither one of us want to push each other out the door. But her talking comes after I put my foot down. I still see her behavior as working from a place of fear. I guess my problem is I see my family as the greater good. My marriage is only part of my family. Many spokes on the wheel. She will not prove to me she doesn't have a second cell phone. I told lie by omission. I handed her the options, divorce and separation papers. There is the MC appointment subject. Told her she should head to our seasonal place come Monday when I get home. So, separation is developing more into that. She didn't remember me agreeing to it, then she got all upset over it. She is off with one child for the weekend. I have 3 IMLC, writing up a new separation agreement to discuss this week at MC. The plan is to separate. Agreement made up, discussed at MC. On that note, why does a woman cry and get angry when you agree to give her what she wants? Separation. The more I agree on separation, display my confidence, the more time we have limited contact equals she calls and texts me more. She picks up son this morning and is flirty with me and very engaging with me. So yes, separation. 5 kids, there's still a lot of interaction. Well, I asked in the question, so if the separation is what you want, why do you get upset and cry? It is what I think is best for right now. It is unfair for me to cause you or anybody else more pain. So, I will go and suffer on my own. It is still not easy. It is like going to get a root canal, painful but needs to be done. A month later, I have been increasing intensity on her since we have agreed to separate, making it real, reminding her she must talk to the kids, giving her a real separation agreement, sticking to my gut on the fact that she can't reconcile with the intense relationship discussion, and I said, well, I cannot without transparency. So initially she was going to run errands and stay out for the night at her temp arrangement. I stuck to it and just calmly said, fine, then you are doing all that. We can write up a divorce agreement, have it notarized with mediation, and go to court next week. She challenged me on that. I stuck to it. Her normal gone for the night stuff is still here. I needed a vent so I can go have fun with the kids. Her divorce filing expired. I got a copy of the dismissal when I went to the courthouse. Almost filed myself. Don't want to spend the money. I would rather spend it on something happy for the kids. Update. She returned on July 2nd. I went to a class reunion and she stayed home with the kids. I ran into an ex-girlfriend, and now I understand why people rekindle old flames. I did no rekindling, but I could see it happening. I did not file yet. I did buy the kids another kayak today. I did revise the separation agreement with more direct wording, like I will not rule out dating while separated. That she will not just show up at the marital home since she has essentially moved out. Shared bill plan, custody plan. I emailed her that. I left in her stack of bills a short note to the effect. Dear W, I agree with your decision to separate, realizing that this is the same as a breakup. I am sure we will talk in the future about things. Her over-the-phone demeanor has been quite different. I am not initiating contact except for kid stuff. I no longer am positive what I want. I feel more single than married. Almost a year later. Projected divorce date is Sept 11, 2022. A bit ironic considering I am a military and fire guy. Currently the children are doing okay. I decided long ago and stuck to creating a positive environment for my children. I have unplugged from the matrix and seek more positive influence than negative. Things are and will be good. As the court date approaches, she becomes nicer. She still cannot express herself, and given I have educated myself extremely on this, so much of it all roots back to her past. It does not excuse the behaviors. I have simply chosen to understand the situation in order to be able to deal with it. Another reality is, what good would the rest of my life be harboring resentment, anger, and negative feelings? In the end, I would be the one suffering. For any newbies reading this, I can say that the greatest change in her behavior was when I no longer acted against what she was doing. This, of course, comes with the caution of protect assets. Children, don't move out, and the other wise advice given here on this forum. None of us should go down like the Titanic, take the pain and rise like a phoenix from the ashes. My comment: you have come very far, my man, although it took a while.